Okay, here we go. Video 4 of kind of my intro to Java programming. In this video, we're going to cover functions, and then hopefully in the video after, we're going to get to classes and kind of learn a little bit about that stuff. So here we go. So first thing that we're going to do, as usual, we're going to open up a new program. Again, you could use the website if you want, ideon.com. I'm going to work within Eclipse because that's probably going to be it's just a very common IDE for programming Java. So I'm going to go up here, File, New. I'm just going to do Java project. My project name, I'm just going to call this functions. That's what we're going to go through. Usually, actually, in Java, let's just change that. In Java, they always call them methods instead of functions. They're really a synonym. Some C-based languages use that. Some use functions. So that's good enough. Next. Looks good. Finish. So methods. So I want to click inside my project methods. Keep everything in this source folder. I'm going to right click new and I'm going to go class. This is my main class. I'm going to call it main. I'm going to give it that kind of reverse domain name. Educate soft dot methods and public static void. Just give it that main method to start things off. So we're going to work within here. Once again, we could work within that Ideon website. That would be fine as well. Let's just do a simple adding function. So generally in code, if I was going to add two numbers, I could go int number 1 equals 10, int number 2 equals 15, and then I would just go int sum equals number 1 plus number 2, and then we're in business. We know that that works, and just to show that, system out dot print line string, tired of typing this, dot value of, and we'll go sum. And I'm not even going to put any text in there. I don't care. I just want to display that sum of 25. We don't even need any text to go along with that. So that would be a way to basically do math. Okay, good. So we could put this into, say we want to do a lot of adding two numbers together in our program at different times. Well, it would make more sense than just having kind of this random code floating around to put that within a function. And so we could build a function, and I'm just going to put this function below. It could be above as well. That main function that I know is where my program starts. If I was to comment this, I would say starting point of application. Okay, but I'm going to make a new function. This is actually our method. Sometimes, most of the time I call methods functions, but they're the same thing. So this is our kind of main method. We're going to make another method. And again, so that we can access it, don't worry about these keywords. That public static is just going to mean that we can access that from within our program. Now, before I display that sum again, let's just do a method that just displays some text. So I'm going to call this one void. And I'm going to just call this method hello. So this is just a basic format of a method, and then you just would go two brackets close. If it takes no arguments, I'm going to talk about arguments in a second. So your most basic way you can make a void method that's just you want to run over and over. Maybe it's a message. How about we just call this message? Public static void message, and every time we want to display a message, we're just going to go print, system out print line, and let's just display a message here. This is a message. So that would be a function or a method that would just display message. Now, in order for me to actually see that happening, okay, I would need to put that in here. While we're at this, I'm just going to show you how to multi-line get rid of comment out sections rather than just commenting out one line at a time with those 2 slashes. Notice that if I put that slash star and then down here star slash, it commented out all those lines. We're going to use those lines in a minute, but let's just get our program so that it's just going to display a message. So let's say we want to display this message twice. Message takes no values there, and message. So we want it just to show that we can reuse this subroutine over and over. So this now should say this is a message, this is a message. So it should say that twice, and that's running within that primary main method that our program runs in. But this is a subroutine that it can run twice, so you can see we can repeat that task. So let's just take a look at this. I run it. This is a message. This is a message. Okay, so that's kind of learning. So, and oftentimes routines that take that void type, so this is the type is a void, they don't return anything. But in the case of what we wanted to do before this, I'm just going to get rid of this. We don't want to display that message right now. So I'm going to uncomment this stuff out. Okay, so I can get back to where I was. We actually want there to be an integer value that happens here. We want to do some math, and we're going to do that math. The math we actually want to do is right here. We want to add 2 numbers. Now, if I was to make another method, I would now call it public static. Like I said, don't worry about that terminology right now. And we're going to say an integer value. Okay, so that's my return type. And we're going to call this add. Now, what I want add to take is 2 arguments. I want to take it 2 numbers. So I'm going to separate those arguments, number 1 and number 2. So it's going to take 2 numbers in, and then what it's going to do, well, we want it to add them up. So I'm just going to cut this out here. Cut that. We don't want that in there anymore. We're going to put this right here. We're going to call it that sum, and we are going to now go. Oh, sorry, I forgot to start those off. So I have to call them integers, because that's what I want. I want this to take 2 arguments that are both integer values. You can take values of different types. Some different methods require strings, some require booleans. They require different things. And so what I want to add is num1, whatever numbers I put in there, and num2. Now, what you can see here, we're still missing something here. Well, with that because it's an integer, I need to return something. So I'm going to say return sum. Now that's going to give me, that's going to meet that requirement of that return type. If you name this anything besides void, it has to have a return type of whatever that is initiated there. So what we have is we have a method here that is just adding 2 numbers together. It's going to take in 2 numbers and it's going to add them together. Okay? Now, that's all great. Why would I want to do this here? Well, if I want to add this in, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, I'm going to actually call that method. So, but let's say that I have a total up here. So let's do another integer value. Integer total equals, and I want the integer total to be those 2 numbers, but I want to use this method here, this add method, to do that calculation for me. So now all I need to type is add, and then it's going to say, okay, I need, that method took 2 things in, so I wanted to take in this number 1 and number 2. Those values, just like that. Okay, so really see how these are related. So this method is being called right here just by using that add. It's taking in 2 values. It's taking integer num1 and integer 2 that have to be integer values. We're taking those in here. And then it's going to give me that result, and it's going to store that result in that return value. The sum is going to equal that total. Okay, so that's the return value. So up here, in order to display this, I would need to change this to total. okay, because that is going to be displayed here. It is going to be the same thing, that's sum, but whatever. And then I could also, if I want to say my message, maybe I want to change my value of my message here. Let's actually make our message a little bit more interesting. Let's give our message, make our message a string. And we need to put a return type. And we'll just go return. And in this case, we'll call it oh goodness. We don't have an actual string value in here, do we, right now? So let's go string message and return message. And in here, let's just change this to whatever message. So we can now use this. Now it's going to take that argument. Okay, so let's take a look at what this is doing. So the string one is going to take a string argument, whatever we put. So let's put it up here. String new message equals whatever I want to say. Okay, so that we could take as an argument in our message here. So let's actually just go. So we did our add. Let's just go message. And we're going to just do new message there. And I'll explain what this means before I run out of time. Okay, so we're going to have two things that print. Now, the return type on the second method is not really important, okay? Because it's going to return that. I could have assigned this to another variable that was a little bit redundant. Inside, and every time I run this message, it's going to display that anyways. Here, we're going to display the result of this method here, and then down here we're going to display the result, or just before that we're going to display the result of whatever I want to put here. And I can change that text easily. I could use this over and over just by changing what I want to take in there as my variable. And so when I run this, let's just run this program, whatever I want to say, and 25. And so now I could go in here and I could change this to whatever I want. Hi. I could change these numbers to whatever I want. And right away, it's going to make that adjustment, high and 30, and then I could use that over and over. Notice that I could type in message here, and even just type in, this is not a good way to code, but I could put in hello there, and it would run that method with that new variable in there, and display that as well. So hi, hello there. I could take in to here any other number values that I wanted. I could even put in different numbers here, 4 and 10 as arguments. As long as I'm passing arguments there, it's going to run those the way I expect. Okay. Hopefully you get an idea that, okay, now I can reuse function over and over and over, and that's good. We're going to move on from this same kind of spot here and move into how the heck can I move these methods now into a place where they're stored in a like place. We're going to move them into a class in the next video. But hopefully this gives you a bit of an idea about functions, or as they're called in Java, methods. If not, hopefully we get the gist of that coming up on the next video. See you next time.